Easy now, Big Jumper. I got him locked in my socks. And I'm gonna shoot him dead. Yeah, shoot him all dead. Can you hear something? Let's go.
Hi there, Starscream here for a quick Transformer review. And yes, it is a G1 Transformer review. And do I sound like a G1 snob for only doing G1 Transformers at the moment? No, I don't think so, but I probably am. I've got a quick question before I continue. Does anybody know what this toy is? It is a Transformer of some kind. Obviously, it's not an official Transformer. I think it's a GoBot. If I transform it, if anybody can tell me where the hell this come from, I'd be really pleased. Got it off eBay. It was meant to be a small foot, but I knew it wasn't small foot anyway, so that comes as no great shock. I have small foot. It's not a disease, by the way. I don't have one big foot and one small foot. No, I'm talking about the toy, although that would be rather a funny complaint. Well, maybe it wouldn't be funny. Oh, never mind. Does anybody know who this is? Answers on a postcard. I've said that many times, haven't I? I would have so many postcards, I think not. Yes. G1, Sunstreaker, and Red Alert, even though it's Sideswipe I'm going to be talking about. You know, can I not edit that out? Can I just continue and pretend I wanted to say Sunstreaker even though it was Sideswipe, and I can muddle the two up? One is yellow and one is red, I do know that for a fact. Right, let's take a look at these. Okay then. Sideswipe, yes, and Red Alert. Should we talk about the characters? There's varying kinds and colorations to both of these toys. Obviously, the fact is that they are both recolours of each other anyway to begin with. But let's talk about Sideswipe quickly. Introduced in Generation 1. He's pretty much there from the get-go as regards characters, although he hasn't got a great deal to do. Like a lot of the background characters in G1, they are there, but you know, they haven't got time really to develop them like Beast Wars, because there's only like essentially 6 or 7 in lead characters, so you can develop them fully, where in the old one they've got so much going on as regards figures, because they want to sell toys, they don't really have a great deal of time to establish the characters as much as they would like to, I guess. Much better in the comics, but I always talk about the cartoon continuity, because that's the one that most of us, I think, remember anyway. Bit of a show-off, really. Not as much as Sunstreaker here, who is a big head. He's a bit more like Trax, actually. But they're both quite self-absorbed and self-obsessed, but he's a little bit more useless. Sideswipe does have his uses, but Sunstreaker doesn't really have any. He's a bit of a ponce. And as far as I know, that the Lamborghini is a fictional one. Unless somebody can point me right, I do not recall there ever being a Lamborghini with that sort of elaborate engine configuration on the back, though I could be wrong. So, there we go. So yes, he is a Lamborghini, he is a real Lamborghini. I've forgotten the name, but everybody knows it's one of the most recognisable ones that I can think of as a Lamborghini, but there we go. So, Sideswipe, you said, not overly developed, but he's still enough developed for you to know he has a character of sorts, and he's a pretty good fighter, actually, in the show. Somebody that they rely on. That's about it, really. I don't want to go any more into character, because, to be honest with you, unless I start covering the comic books, we're not going to get anywhere today. So, everybody likes Sideswipe. Well, I like Sideswipe. I think most people do. Not as likeable as Jazz and along those lines, but not necessarily as well developed. Anyway, toy. We got on to the others only, as I said, varying recolours, there is many. This is the original G1, or there's been reissues anyway. Stickers on him are pretty damn good. They always got a nice bit of metal on the back, made him, unlike a lot of them, he's quite stable for a G1 figure. He poses really nicely, he's got his arms, he can move them in front of himself, which isn't too bad. And he essentially has almost a pivot in the middle. Not quite, but almost. It works anyway, it works quite well. Head moulding. Always like the head moulding in these ones. Let's get a close up there. Not beginning up, there we go. Nice head moulding, it's quite sculpted, and you can see the expression on the face is one of complete disregard for anything really. So he has a bland expression, but it doesn't really matter, it doesn't indicate into the character. But what can I say? Yeah, Sideswipe is a great toy. You've got to have them. As a G1 collection, you can't not have Sideswipe. Right, Red Alert. Okay. Now, there's 2 Red Alerts I've got. This is the reissue. I have the other one. I'm not getting all of them down, so tough, and they're not all down anyway, so even more tough. That's doubly tough. Now, how hard are things when they're doubly tough? In the cartoon show, his head is red, so I painted the other one red, but for some reason I painted the original one red, and I left the reissue one the original colour, which is probably not what I should have done in retrospect. I should have probably done it the opposite way around. And if I do recall, though somebody can put me right, he has red hands too. Let me think. Yes, he does. I'm positive he has red hands, so that'll be something to do next. And that will be quite easy to do, as you can tell. It's only one or 2 little screws holding it in, the hand will fall out, and obviously I'll paint it, or spray it, which would have been better. Head moulding is, again, unfortunately, considering it's another character, exactly the same. They could have done what they did with Hoist and Trailbreaker, couldn't they, and given him another head moulding? That would have been nice, but I suppose their way around it in the show was just to give him a red head. Is that like Smallfoot, having a red head? Red head. Now that would imply that you were ginger. That's... I'll forget it. But yeah, exactly the same. There is absolutely no difference, other than the fact, and I can tell, other than he has the little sirens placed on the back because he's a fire chief. Now, stop me if I'm wrong. When the fire departments have enough money to use Lamborghinis to go around in, I mean, don't get me wrong, that would be cool. To arrive in somebody's house, they've got a fire issue going on here, and you arrive in a Lamborghini, and they say, what are you going to do for us? And I'm going to say, I'm going to pose next to my Lamborghini, like, you know, because I'm that cool, and I'm not going to do anything for you, because I'm in a Lamborghini, and I'm cool. Yes, so, you know, I can't see it being a particularly useful vehicle, unless fire chiefs just go around inspecting fires, and then they call in the fire department to come and fix things. Which brings me on nicely to what I was going to talk about, his character. He has got issues. He's completely off the deep end. The reason why it brings in nicely with the Brink calling in the fire department is because of Inferno, who happens to be a fire engine. And him and Red Alert have a very, 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 very unhealthy relationship from what I can tell in the show. It's not right. It is wrong. It is a wrong relationship. I'm not going down any more on that. If you know what, you obviously know what I'm on about in the show, and if you don't, well then you're missing out big time. You've got to watch it, and then you'll know exactly what I'm on about. But I think everybody out there knows. I'll say no more about them. So yes, Red Alert, and no, he's a bit of a nut. He thinks everybody's after him for some reason. Even when he goes mad in one of the episodes, I can't remember, he has a mental breakdown or something, and he joins forces with Starscream for a bit. But he's not. He doesn't really like Starscream. He doesn't really like anybody. He thinks all the Autobots are out to get him in because he is mad. And that's when he flips. But prior to that, and he's in a couple more episodes if I recall, he's still an arsehole. He is just an arsehole Transformer. And as regards his development in the comics, I can't say as he had a great deal to do. Apart from he is in Generation 2 in his Generation 2 colours, which I will show you. And he gets killed, I think, in the 2nd or 3rd. Or if it's in the graphic novel, it's definitely in the 1st book. He gets blasted, you know, right across the chest and across the side. It's a good death, and he does something. He's a real kick-ass. He's going around looking all mean. He's got the strap there with, I think it's bullets or something on. I don't know why he'd be using bullets. They're lasers. And he's got, looks like a shotgun. I suppose that would indicate the why he has bullets wrapped around. But anyway, he looks a real kick-ass. And he's got kick-ass colours. Oh no, that was Sideswipe, wasn't it? Not Red Alert. Okay, I take that back. The description I just gave you was of Sideswipe, not Red Alert. Red Alert is an arsehole, and you do have to have him for the collection, but he does serve no purpose in what I can tell in doing anything. It's not like Ratchet or anything, or... Who's the other guy? Wheeljack, who's staring at me. Right, the variations, the colours now. Let's take a look at Generation 2 Sideswipe, who I just got confused with Red Alert. It's quite clever that I did that, considering he has his name plastered all over the back of the spoiler. I'm good today, I'm on the ball. I can even get things wrong when they're written in front of me. Now, that's pretty impressive. Not everybody can do that. Alright, now let's take a look. You see, the reason I was getting him confused, you can understand my problem, is his hands and head are red, and he was sitting down there, I'm thinking, yeah, he's Red Alert, isn't he? And it's been a long time. I don't study these toys all the time. I don't just sit there looking at them, no, that's looking good today, man. No, I don't do that at all. But yes, G2 is quite nice. He really is nice. Typical G2, they got their name plastered on because I think because all the Generation 2 characters have got personality disorders by now, and they have to be reminded of their names. And they've always got a hole, like G2 Jazz and Starscream stuff. They hold an additional weapon, and it's usually a quirky little squirty watery gun thing, I think it was. You don't want to go down it, it's rubbish. I don't like quirky things, and gadgets and gimmicks. I hate gimmicks. But there we go. He's a nice figure. I really like Generation 2 Sideswipe. In fact, I think I prefer him to the original G1. The colour scheme is great, if not a little bit garish, but it's nice. Now, where are we? Right. Yeah, we know he was in the movie. I've just bought this is Sideswipe, if I recall, out of the Bay movie. Well, a variation. I'm not sure if this is Sideswipe or another character they just made up. It is recolour of Sideswipe. Why did I bring him up for? He has absolutely no character at all. I just thought I would for the sake of it. Why the hell not? Now, these two are quite nice. These were exclusives. Where are they? Alright. Clamp down. He's just a, not a recolour, he's just a re-stickered, from what I can tell, Red Alert. I mean, it's a way of making money. These were e-hobby exclusives, as far as I recall. Is there any difference between him and Red Alert? Not at all, other than the fact is now he's a police officer. So you'd be afraid now. You know he's a nutter before, now he's got command of some authority. He's a police officer. Is he really worth getting? Well, not really, because let's face it, look, let's just put them next to each other. Other than the fact one's a fire chief and one is a police officer, there really isn't enough difference to warrant getting another version of the same thing. Now, I may sound like a hypocrite because I have both. I couldn't even pronounce hypocrite there, could I? Hypocrite I am for doing that. But I wouldn't really bother. This one, on the other hand, deep cover, looks like a variation of G2. Sideswipe, sorry, scratching my nose there. Why? Because nobody else will. Yes, he's alright yet again. It looks more like G2. I like the pastel blue on him. Facial moulding. Has the moulding changed? Just bear with me one moment. I haven't really studied from the G2 to these later models. I'm just trying to see, has the facial moulding changed? Not one jot. Oh, I suppose that's consistency, which is always nice. Yeah, I don't really know their characters. I think there is obviously some fanfic about them. I'm not sure if they've been in any comics or anything. If they have, it wouldn't surprise me, but they'd probably be background characters. They've only been so established anyway. Botcom exclusives of Sunstreak and Sideswipe. I think these are recolours of Red Prowl, if I recall. Unfortunately, they didn't go as far as to redo the heads. Are they worth getting up? Well, they display really nice in vehicle mode. In actual fact, I display all of them in vehicle mode, a nice long line altogether. I mean, this got to be possibly one of the most recoloured Transformers out there, isn't he? Let me just think. Seeker Jets, yeah, definitely, but then they're slightly retooled, aren't they? I mean, I know he hasn't got his shoulder-mounted weapon and gun, but essentially, they're not really retooled, they're just their weapons. But the Jets were, you know, slightly changed and modified just a little bit to make them look more up-to-date over the original ones. Are they the most... I guess they've probably got to be along the lines of probably one of the most recoloured Transformer figure. They got their money's worth out of this mould, didn't they? Anyway, so that's a little look at Sideswipe and Sideswipe and Red Alert. I hope that was some interest to you. You probably got those figures anyway, and I'm just preaching to the converted, but I'm pretty good at doing that, especially when it comes to G1 stuff. Most people like it anyway, so you're on a good bet, aren't you? Next it will be either Jetfire, I guess, or I could do another Ultra Magnus review. How's that? No promises. I'll try and get Jetfire or Skyfire done for you guys. All right. That's it really. Take care, guys, and see you out there.